The sudden resignation of Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland last week has sent shockwaves, not just across the political landscape, but Canada's financial landscape as well. The federal Conservatives have expressed they no longer have faith in the Liberal government to handle the threat of Donald Trump's proposed tariffs. This also has a broader impact on many other economic sectors in the country, from finance and investment to international trade. Joining me now is Brendan Caldwell, Director at Caldwell Securities Limited. Brendan, thanks for joining me.
Great to be here, Theresa. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Now, what does Ms. Freeland's resignation mean for the existing government budget?
Well, the budget for the 2024-2025 was largely passed last spring, with the notable exception of the increase in the capital gains tax provision. There was going to be a bump up in the capital gains tax rate for those that made more than $250,000 in gains, which the government had said would only affect a very small part of the population. I'm not sure everybody quite felt that way, because the reaction by the electorate seems to not have been as positive as the government had hoped. So that bit actually hasn't been passed yet, or not even legislation has been introduced. So whether that capital gains increase and maybe a few other outstanding things actually becomes law remains to be seen, because it's not so much Christia's departure from the position, but the entire government might tumble when Parliament comes back in late January, early February.
And would you say she's responsible for the deficit, or is there a bigger story here?
Well, I think the story is bigger than Chrystia. Yes, she has been the finance minister for the last several years and the deputy prime minister, but there was a column in the National Post in the last, I think maybe on Saturday, in which he called the prime minister the worst finance minister Canada's ever had. Both of his finance ministers, the well-respected Bill Morneau and now Chrystia, who's always been thought of as the brains of the outfit, both have left totally frustrated in dealing with the prime minister's office. And so I think it's more than just the finance minister. It does seem that this government is willing to kick people to the curb and blame them for anything that goes wrong, while taking full credit for anything that's gone right or imagine that's gone right. So I think it's bigger than any one person. I think it's more of an issue with the entire government.
And will this affect people investing in Canadian markets?
I don't think this in and of itself, the issue with investment in Canadian markets has been, it's been problematic for a while, both from a regulatory, whether you're talking mining or oil and gas. It's been a very hostile environment in which to attract foreign investment. And the proposed increase that I alluded to earlier in the capital gains tax has really put a halt on new financings. Not that it should matter that much, but psychologically, I think the idea that Canada is, from a regulatory and a tax perspective, an unfriendly environment is in the air, so that it's very hard to attract capital to this country. So her leaving isn't the issue. I think the issue is the impression that we've created worldwide about how friendly or otherwise Canada is as a place to invest one's money with the hope of making a gain along the way.
And how will Dominic LeBlanc being named finance minister in place of Ms. Freeland impact the economy?
Well, if I said or implied that the prime minister is difficult to control, even for the finance minister, I think Mr. LeBlanc is uniquely qualified, because as I understand it, at one point in time, he was the prime minister's babysitter. So if anybody can tell the prime minister what time it is, it should be the new finance minister. He may have an advantage. The other two simply did not. I mean, I'm being tongue-in-cheek here, but it is going to be challenging for this government to continue to function. I think for Canada to have a reset, both the way we view ourselves and for how the world views us, I think we're going to need at least an election, if not a full-on change in government. It has been more than hinted at now by the opposition parties that when Parliament resumes, they're going to have propose a non-confidence motion, which would, if successful, lead to an election. I think we do need a bit of a reset because it does seem to be very chaotic up in Ottawa right now.
Brendan, thank you so much and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Theresa.